Welcome to Poolpanda. This is your channel for every issue regarding pools and pool equipment. Today, I want to show you the Bestway surface skimmer. Skimmers are devices that are used to clean your pool. They use the suction on the surface, which generated by the pump. On the surface you will have particles. For example, dust or leaves. As they swim on the water, they follow the stream. As those particles get sucked in the surface skimmer, they will accumulate there. The result will be that your pool is getting steadily cleaner. Just think about it, as long the pump is running, the surface skimmer is like a butler. He serves you all the time and does continuously his work. As the surface skimmer works for hour after hour, the cleaning is continuous. Your pool looks constantly great. A clean pool is the most important precondition for having a great time in it. See? This clean pool invites to get in. But there are circumstances. Determine how the Bestway skimmer will work. If it works well or not so well. So let us take a look what we can do to get the best results. And there, we have reached the main issue. The whole theory stays theory. If there is not enough suction on the surface. Without enough suction, many particles will stay where they are. So, the first thought is, well, the pump must be powerful enough. And yes, having a good pump is a big step forward. Think about it, using a pump that generates only 300 gallons per hour will not do a proper job. It just doesn't work. But, if you choose a stronger pump, it's getting better. For example, using the Bestway pump 58383, performing 480 gallon system flow rate, will do the job, at least for small and medium-sized pools. But, what is system flow rate? Many manufacturers and advertisers will talk about the pump flow rate. This is the bigger number. Why? Because, the filter inside is not considered, as well the height difference. But, in reality, you always use a filter inside and, you always have a height difference. So the pump flow rate is irrelevant. Always watch for the system flow rate. To sum up, the best performance of the surface skimmer is what counts. So, watch for the system flow rate. Bestway gives two numbers for the pump 58383. The first is 530 gallons. This is the pump flow rate. The second is 480 gallons per hour. This is the system flow rate. For other pumps this principle works similarly. Let's watch for an example. The Intex pump 26643 performs 1200 gallons per hour. But this is pump flow rate. The system flow rate is 1050 gallons per hour. Conclusion: know the system flow rate of your pump. But, let's focus to praxis impressions. Before we told you that 480 gallon system flow rate are already good, if you want the surface skimmer to work properly. If we connect a stronger pump, the results are getting better. Here, we combine the skimmer with a 710 gallon pump. The skimmer works better overall. We like the outcome. But, the system flow rate of the pump is just one important issue we need to consider. The system flow rate must be set in ratio with the pool surface. So if the pool surface gets bigger, the pump must get stronger as well. Take this in consideration, and the surface skimmer will keep your pool clean. Generally, if your pool surface is below 8 square yards, you will not need more than 700 gallon system flow rate. But what about bigger pools? Of course the skimmer will do a bad job if you combine a 20 square yards pool with a 700 gallon pump. In our pool laboratory, we did some experiments for you. We did some testings, combining different pools with different pumps. We added quite many leaves to the pools. Why? Because on the one hand, we wanted to simulate intense load, on the other hand, we wanted to make water cycles visible. Here, you can see the Intex 16 feet frame pool. We combined the Bestway surface skimmer with an pump that performs 1050 gallons per hour. We were quite surprised how poor the results were. Yes, the skimmer collected within 30 minutes of testing many leaves, but huge areas were still covered. Of course this is better than nothing, but we were not satisfied. The pool did not look clean enough. We want to achieve that the biggest workload is done by the skimmer, not by us. So let's go for a better constellation. We want to get a remarkable difference between the conditions at the beginning and the conditions at the end. So, we used a bigger pump, and already 210 gallons more system flow rate made a difference. The skimmer returned to be a good butler, and we were truly satisfied. By the way, for the competition model from Intex, we needed much more power. The Intex surface skimmer began to work as good as the Bestway skimmer, using a system flow rate of 1850 gallons. This is remarkable. The Bestway surface skimmer needs much less power than the Intex skimmer. This is pleasant, as the Bestway skimmer is more economic. You can combine the Bestway surface skimmer also with more pumps than you can with the Intex model. Impressive. Now you can see the Bestway skimmer working with nearly 2,000 gallon system flow rate. In this constellation, the surface skimmer pulled leaves from little greater distances, but the total result was overall not better than before. How is this possible? Because there were stronger water cycles. As the pumps get stronger, they generate more power. So, not only the suction increases, but also the pressure at the outlet. This can result in closed water circulations. Particles within that circulations are out of reach for the surface skimmer. Of course, such closed circulations can emerge also with smaller pumps or within smaller pools. So, let's take a closer look on this issue. If closed circulations occur in your pool, there are two methods to end them. At least for the moment. The first option is to shut down the pump for several minutes. The water circulations will cease. The second option is to use an outlet device like shown. You can try different directions, and those directions will result in different circumstances and water flows. If you direct the outlet upwards, the surface circulation caused by the pressure of the pump will get weaker. Just try some different settings and find the best for your own constellation. In our experiments we did this and the results were getting better. Not perfect, but good enough to be satisfied. Let's watch the next experimental setup. As the Bestway surface skimmer works more efficient, the generated pull is really nice. The Bestway skimmer is performing much better pulling leaves from the closed circulation at the left. Again, impressive. But enough of water cycles, let's talk about performance again. Is there a formula which grants good surface skimmers results at a high probability? First, we need to address that there is a minimum requirement for the performance of your pump. The system flow rate must always be bigger than about 450 gallons per hour. Nevertheless, how small your pool is, 450 gallons is the minimum figure to get good results with the Bestway surface skimmer. We want to point out, this is a very good value. The Intex skimmer needs at least 700 gallons per hour to work properly. So, never fall below 450 gallon system flow rate. After accepting this minimum requirement, we can finally head for the formula. For every square yard net pool surface, we recommend 73 gallon system flow rate per hour. Let's take a look at some examples. Here, we see in 12 feet frame pool. The surface of this pool is about 13.6 square yards. So, the needed system flow rate is 13.6 times 73. As total system flow rate, we need 993 gallons per hour. Now, we calculate for an 15 feet inflatable pool. As our formula requires the net surface, we must calculate the diameter within, not the outside diameter. The net surface of this pool is about 16.2 square feet. Let's insert the numbers in our formula. 16.2 times 73 is 1,182. The system flow rate of your pump must be at least 1,182 gallons per hour if you use this 15 feet inflatable pool. If you build up your skimmer, the connections, and the pump properly, the results will be really nice. You will be satisfied at a high probability. If your figures stay below our recommendation resulting from the formula, the surface skimmer will not work as good as it could. But don't get us wrong. Of course, using a surface skimmer in non-ideal circumstances is nearly always better than not using it at all. But nevertheless, the purpose of using surface skimmers is that most of the work is done not by us. We want the skimmer to do the job, so we have more time left for ourselves. Time we can use to enjoy the pool instead of cleaning it. The skimmer shall keep the pool continuously clean, so we are always looking forward using the pool. So, we truly recommend to consider our formula. What can we tell you about the connections? There are good news. You can connect the Bestway surface skimmer with small or big pools, even with small and big pools from Intex. It seems that Intex and Bestway agreed for a standard connection. This pleases us quite a lot, as it means that the Bestway surface skimmer is versatile. It can be connected to all Intex and Bestway pools, except Intex graphite pools. Let's talk about the workflow. What happens to all the particles that get collected within the surface skimmer? Well, within hours or, most likely, days, there are so many particles inside the surface skimmer that it is a good idea to empty it. Just take the basket out of the skimmer, throw away those particles inside, and then just put the basket back in the skimmer. That's already all. Now, you get some tips and tricks if you want the surface skimmer to work as good as possible. Firstly, adjust the surface skimmer. You can carefully change the angle. Secondly, try to optimize the position. Try to achieve the biggest distance to the outlet. The water cycle of the skimmer gets more efficient as the distance to the outlet gets further. Also, keep your pump clean. Backwash your sand filter regularly. If you use cartridge pump, wash out the filter. Check if there is air inside the hoses or the pump. Get the air out, so the performance of your pump will increase. And of course, This will increase the performance of your surface skimmer. If you want to know how to do this, check out our articles at www.poolpanda.com. In general, what are the limitations for the surface skimmer? C. The purpose of the surface skimmer is to remove particles on the surface. Particles that sink down are out of reach. The surface skimmer cleans only your surface. Nothing more, nothing less. So, don't get upset if the surface skimmer does not clean your pool solely. Our conclusion: if you follow the recommendations we gave you before, you should benefit greatly using the Bestway surface skimmer. The pool will continuously stay clean, and it will be always inviting to get into it. We think that the Bestway surface skimmer is the most useful accessory you can get. So, please ensure that the circumstances are ideal for the surface skimmer. We recommend it without any doubt. Thumbs up for this great product. If you want to purchase this surface skimmer, please use the Amazon link below. This is free for you, but it helps us to produce more content like this video. We would be happy if you support us.